Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. I am Ciniello, and I am excited to share some insights with you on one of the most pressing challenges facing SaaS companies right now, which is how to meet the rising demand for analytics without overextending your team or derailing your roadmap. In the next 30 minutes, we're going to walk through the real costs of scaling BI internally, why many companies do hit a wall, and how embedded analytics offers a smarter path forward. So as I mentioned, I am Ciniello, the product manager at Reveal. Online today as well is Jason Beres, who at the end is going to come in and give us a very quick live demo of Reveal. And here's our agenda for today. So first, we will look at the current state of business intelligence within SaaS companies, what's working and what is breaking down. Then we'll explore the hidden costs and trade-offs of building BI in-house. After that, we'll walk you through why embedded analytics is gaining so much momentum and how to decide when embedded analytics makes sense rather than building. And we'll also take, as I just mentioned, a short live look at Reveal in action. And throughout the webinar today, as you have any questions, comments, anything, please feel free to use the question window. We have a few people online who will get back to you as soon as they can within the question window. Okay, so let's start with what's happening across the industry. There's no question, analytics is no longer a bonus feature. We all know that. Your users expect to interact with data inside of your products. They want dashboards that they can explore, filters that they can apply, and answers that they can uncover on their own. But most BI teams weren't built for this. They're dealing with internal reporting, ad hoc requests, and now an entirely new demand from the product side. And, of course, they're hitting a wall now. In a recent study that we conducted here, we showed that 72% of SaaS companies have seen analytics demand double in the last 2 years. So that's double in the last 2 years. But most haven't doubled their resources at the same time. And that's where cracks really start to show. You can see here as well on the right, so that internal survey that we did conduct, we will follow up with in the email at the end of this webinar. We do a yearly deep dive into the state of the market for embedded analytics. We're actually going to be kicking off our 2026 one soon as well. So keep an eye out for that report that we will follow up with. But now let's talk about what it actually takes to try and scale an internal BI team to meet the demand. Hiring BI talent isn't just difficult, it's expensive and it can be slow. So the average time to hire a senior BI developer is over 2 months, sometimes longer. And once they've onboarded, you're looking at sometimes a fully loaded cost north of $150,000 annually. But the real kicker is that when you build analytics in-house, you're essentially taking on a second product, one that needs to be designed, developed, maintained, and supported. So it's not just a one-time cost, it's a long-term commitment that grows as your customer base grows. And that's even before we factor in some of the trade-offs. So even with the best intentions, internal builds come with hidden costs. You start pulling your most capable engineers off the core roadmap to build analytics. But those same engineers were supposed to be shipping product features, the ones that drive your growth and differentiation. Now they're bogged down, maintaining dashboards, fixing data bugs, and fielding support tickets. Your innovation slows, technical debt piles up, and before long, your analytics experience is even outdated from when you shipped it. And it's not just because your team isn't capable, it's because you're stretching them too thin, right? There is a better way. So let's zoom out and take a look at what users actually want. So static reports really aren't going to cut it anymore. They expect real-time dashboards, intuitive interactions, like we mentioned before, drill down, filtering, you name it. They want insights embedded into their workflow. They don't want it in a separate tool. They don't want to bounce around from app to app to app to get what they need. So this isn't just about convenience. It's about user satisfaction, retention, and a competitive advantage and differentiation in the market. So when your analytics feels like a first-class part of your product, it elevates the entire experience. So how do you deliver that without burning out your team and taking away from the core of your product? That is where embedded analytics comes in. Instead of building everything from scratch, you integrate a pre-built analytics engine directly into your application. You still control the experience. It's branded, themed, and customizable to your users. But now, your team isn't responsible for building every chart, maintaining infrastructure, or reinventing the access control for your users. Embedded analytics platforms like Reveal give you everything you need to deliver insights without compromising your roadmap. Okay, so here is a quick snapshot of the benefits. So with embedded analytics, you launch faster because you're working with a platform that's already been built and battle tested. You improve user experience by embedding dashboards natively into your UI. You personalize insights with role-based filters. And most importantly, you shift the workload away from your BI team. Business users get the answers they need. Developers stay focused on building your product, and leadership gets a clear ROI. So when is embedding then the right move for you? And we can break that down. So there is no one-size-fits-all answer, but here's a good framework. If your users expect analytics, but your team is stretched thin, embed. If analytics is important, but not the core to your differentiation, embed. If time to market matters and you can't afford to delay, embed. Every SaaS company will face this decision eventually. The question is, do you want to own a second product or do you want to ship faster? Let me show you how, or walk you through how Reveal helps teams to make that shift. So Reveal is purpose-built for SaaS teams that want to embed analytics without reinventing the wheel. It is developer-friendly, flexible, and secure. You can customize the complete look and feel, define user roles, and even choose your deployment model, cloud, on-prem, you name it. It's fast to get started, easy to scale, and designed to grow with you. So, with that being said, I am going to pass it over to Jason for a very quick demo of Reveal to check it out.
Thanks, Casey. So I just want to highlight a few features of Reveal to give you an idea of what you get with a SDK like Reveal, where there's a client and a server, and you just add these libraries to your existing application and they light up your application with all kinds of BI capabilities. So this is a sample application. This is actually written in Angular. It's for a fictitious company called Acme Analytics. And what I've done is I've kind of customized the look and feel for the Acme Analytics brand. On the left-hand list here, I have all of the Reveal dashboards listed that are on the server. You'll notice one of the nice features of Reveal is a thumbnail of the actual dashboard. So this doesn't show any data. It just shows the shape of the data and gives the user a mental model of what that dashboard actually is. This is just application level code. The dashboard is over here on the right-hand side. So what do you get in a Reveal dashboard? Well, there's tons of features out of the box that require no code on your part. So, for example, here on my bar chart, I've got a tooltip, which is giving me some tools like filtering. So I'm getting interactive filtering across multiple visualizations in the dashboard. I don't have to write any code to make this happen. This is all wired up automatically by Reveal. I can click the filter object here, which collapses it, and my dashboard's back to normal. There's a feature in Reveal called dashboard linking, which allows me to take the context of whatever I happen to be hovering over and push that to a filter in another dashboard. So for example, I'm on Sir Rodney Scones. Let me link over to all of the details of the Sir Rodney Scones orders, and this dashboard is set up. You'll also notice here I'm hovering over a date time visualization. It has some other options like drill down. So you get automatic drill down and drill up, no code required. Here I'm doing some filtering on my tree map, so I want to filter by Austria. You'll note that all the other visualizations are automatically filtering. This is no code on your part. It is all automatic, and it's dynamic. So as I'm hovering over elements, I'm getting different options on my tooltip to link to other dashboards. And on my order details page, I can even do filters here from the fixed filter bar. So we have interactive filtering, which is just in the tooltip, but I could also have a different type of filter that's always available on my user interface. So let's just go back to my accounts page and let's click over to banking. Banking actually has that fixed filter area set up. I have a date range filter with some defaults here. The nice thing about Reveal is because we are an SDK, you can customize these lists. Almost anything you see on the user interface is customizable. But let's go to the overflow, and I'm going to click edit. This is where the magic happens, where you really do save a ton of time. This would take months and months, maybe a year to code. You have an interactive editor for your dashboard. So every item I hover over, you see it lights up. Let me click the pencil icon, and now I'm in the visualization editor. The left-hand side, I have my schema. I happen to be using Excel sheets here, but we have 30 data connectors, everything from SQL Server, MongoDB, Snowflake, you name it, you have a data connector for Reveal. I'm going to go ahead and remove all of these settings here, and let's just do a new visualization. Let's do name and deposits by name. So what this will do is give me a visualization of all those deposits by name. This doesn't really tell a great story because there's too much data and it's very hard to read. Now I could switch to any one of our 30 chart types, including custom visualizations that you can implement yourself. But let's just change this maybe to a bar chart, see if it reads any better. Not really, but we can do a filter. So what I really want to do is just see the top 10 items here. So I'm going to drag this to a data filter, and I'm going to do a top items rule. And let's just look at the top 10. I'll create that filter. There are my top 10 items. I may want to customize this even further by adding other fields. And maybe I don't want to use name because it doesn't really help me out. So how about we look at this by country? So there's my top 10 countries. But what I want to do is clean this up a little bit. There's a lot of zeros on my axis label here, and I want to make it look a little bit different. So let's give this a capital D, which will improve my tooltip. I want to add an axis title. We'll just say top 10 deposits. And whoops, let's spell it correctly at least. And my aggregation, I'm going to leave the same. Usually you'd be writing a lot of code to do this, but this is all built into Reveal. This is a currency, and I want to do large number formatting. And when I update the field, you'll see it's nice and clean here on the bottom. I'm going to go over to settings. I want to show my axis lines. I also want to show my axis titles. And I do want to show the legend, but I want the legend to be on the bottom and I want it to be centered. So there we have deposits here on the bottom, and that is kind of unnecessary because I do have top 10 deposits there. So let's just get rid of the legend altogether. I'm going to check this box, and there is my new visualization. You'll notice here there's some other options like average, fixed line. So if I edit this guy, and we look at the fixed lines feature, this is actually doing some automatic math for you. I can remove it. My chart goes back to normal. I want to add the average across this guy, and I have those same filter options. Formatting options. I can make this look a little bit different. Maybe we'll make it look like a currency, again, with large number formatting, and bang, there is my fixed line. And all of this is with no code on your side. Now, let's say I want to add a new visualization from a spreadsheet, Excel file, SQL Server database. It doesn't matter. This process is still going to be the same. We can preview our data here. I can see all of the stuff available. This one actually looks good. So I'm going to select this data, and I want to do something by country, and I want to do something by referral type, and I want to show the balance. And I actually want this to be in a tree map. So there we go. There's my tree map. I can check this box. And if we scroll down, we can see that my visualization is here on the bottom. I want it to be next to the map. So I'm going to squeeze that up. And there we go. If I wanted to rearrange things, this is all built in. You don't have to write code for any of this. If I check this box, this automatically saves to the server, and my dashboard is done. We also have some other cool features like exporting. One of my favorites is export to Excel. So let's look at this really quick. I get a nice dialog. It lets me change the name of the output file, the different sheet names. I'm going to click export to Excel, and this creates the Excel file for me. So let's open this guy up. I see what filters were available, but this is where it gets cool. Not only do we export the data, we export a live Excel chart with each sheet for chart types that we can do that for. So we don't have a map in Excel that we can use, so that's just a table. But everything else, you'll get this beautiful Excel sheet with a real Excel chart. So this is not just an image. So these are the types of things that would probably take quite a while to implement, but with something like Reveal, it is a snap. And if I go over to my employee sales page, this is showing another way to filter. So this is my dashboard on the right. I'm using the filter API in Reveal to actually update the data in my dashboard from a variable in my application. So this list view is a list, an Angular list component that's just part of my app. It's all my salespeople. When I click on a salesperson, the dashboard updates. So again, these are just features where all I had to do was use 2 lines of code in the filter API, and that automatically let me just refresh this data with no other client-side code. And then finally, what I really love to show is this visualization catalog. So with Reveal, you can build out experiences that you otherwise would never have been able to do on your own, like point and click to create dashboards in a full-on visualization dashboard editor. So I just did a point and click with visualizations that are in my visualization catalog. I can still edit these. Maybe I want to add those fixed lines, show the average across all these values. Check the box. When I check this box, it'll automatically save to the server, and I am done. So with the Acme Analytics app, I did customizations just with a few lines of code with Reveal. And to give you an idea of what that actually looks like, let's take a look at design.revealbi.io. What this is a sample application which highlights how you can theme and style Reveal. So this is the Reveal dashboard, and my configurator is here on the left. So we have some built-in themes. You can see these are quite nice, but I can also customize anything I'd like. So I've listed a bunch of different color combinations here, so you can see that everything on the right-hand side is changing. Let's stick with Icy Fire. Let me go over to some overrides here so I can change things like the dashboard background color if I'd like. It doesn't look very nice, but you can see as I change, the colors are changing. So what you can do is match this to your brand. If I go over to the fonts, maybe we want to do something pretty cool like a JetBrains Mono font or a Source Code Pro font. And look at that. How cool does my dashboard look now? So let's see if we can do the JetBrains Mono on the medium font. And now my dashboard looks a little bit space age, kind of robotic. But again, I have all the same features that we saw earlier. My filters, my drill downs, everything is available to me already. Now, if I go to modify things like the visualization margins, Watch what happens when I do this. I get a nice gap between my visualizations, and you'll notice everything here is rounded corners. Maybe I want this to be squared off. So now I have everything as a squared corner. And then finally, all of the available properties on the client. So for example, if I go to my overflow, you'll see edit, refresh, and my export options are available. Maybe I don't want export to image or export to PDF and PowerPoint available. And maybe I don't want some other options here like, well, I won't mess with anything else, but you get the idea. There's a lot of features here that you can customize through property settings. But let's go here and you can see that I only have Excel now. So what does that code look like? So when we talk about saving time for your team, setting up this dashboard, customizing the UI, having all of the drill down linking, etc., is a total of maybe 40 lines of code, but most of it is just the setup. So I've got my Reveal dashboard, I'm loading banking, I'm applying a base theme, and then I'm calling Create Custom Theme. Create Custom Theme is setting a handful of properties, so my chart colors, my medium font, my bold font, and then I'm applying some UI settings. So really, my custom code was probably 10 lines of total code to create a beautiful dashboard like this. And this gives you the idea that with a tool like Reveal that has a complete embedded client and server experience, you can scale your analytics, scale what you can deliver to your customers with minimal effort on your dev team side. So with that, let's switch back to the slides and I'll wrap this up. So hopefully you saw through Casey's presentation and my demo that Reveal can really help scale your BI capabilities without scaling your team. Not only is there a ton of benefit to delivering BI to your users through your SaaS apps or through your internal apps, but you'll get amazing data-driven decision-making and results by rolling this out in a digital transformation project. So if you'd like to get more information on Reveal, shoot us an email, sales@revealbi.io. Check out our website, revealbi.io, or email me, Jason B. @infragistics.com or Ciniello @infragistics.com. And we would love to talk to you more about Reveal and how it can really drive data-driven decision-making in your user base and really deliver a simple and beautiful analytics experience without needing to scale your team. Thanks again for spending your time with us today, and we will see you at the next webinar.